Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news, shots fired as you are looking live as police investigate a business hit near Triangle Town Center in Raleigh. You can see the glass at that business right here shattered. What we're learning about damage and the search for whoever pulled the trigger.
And it's a chilly start this morning. There may be some patchy frost in the north, but could be even colder tonight. We'll take a look.
And Friday night emotions. The Cleveland High community returns to the field for the first time since a medical emergency stopped play last week. We're going to that story and others this morning as you are joining us here on this Friday at WRAL News at 4:30. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm Chris Lovingood. We want to talk about a frost advisory that's in place. I was a little surprised to see that, though, Elizabeth. I'm not sure why, but I think you actually were talking about that just a couple of days ago. Some people waking up where it's kind of cold right now.
You know, it is chilly, especially up near the Virginia line. We are looking at a little bit of cloud cover that streamed in. Cloud cover tends to hold in any daytime heating and keep our temperatures a little bit warmer. Yesterday morning, there were some patches where there was some frost, so I think the Weather Service was covering the bases. It may be a little bit more likely that we see some frost tomorrow. Check out temperatures. It is 37 in Roxborough, 40 in South Hill, so that's really going to be the spot that we'll be watching. Elsewhere, temperatures are a little milder, mid-40s in Southern Pines and Fayetteville, 50 in Durham and Raleigh, 44 in Goldsboro, 48 in Rocky Mount. It's a nice morning at the State Fair. Again, as we head into the last weekend of the fair, we take a live look at North Hills. We're mostly clear this morning. 50 degrees is our temperature, and our dew point is a nice dry 37. The dry temperatures and some breezy conditions this afternoon do bring us high fire danger again for it today. And our temperatures slightly cooler than yesterday. We'll see highs in the upper 60s. Of course, we'll take a close look at what's happening with Melissa in the Caribbean coming up.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. We'll come back to you in just a bit. We do want to go back to that breaking news story right now. Investigators are saying that someone fired shots at businesses near the Triangle Town Center. In fact, WRAL's Ali Kadlabar has been following that story overnight in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Ali, show us that window again. I saw that, and, you got to wonder who is responsible for this.
And Chris, just within the past 15 minutes, we've seen forensics team tag a bullet hole in the very back of that business there. That is Mariner Finance. This is across the street near Triangle Town Center. And you can see where that window is also shattered. But we also want to show you another business, Spectrum store right here, is also, they have two windows shattered from what we can see. We can even see an employee sweeping up all of that shattered glass. But taking you to this video, giving you a closer look from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, Raleigh police say they responded to a shots fired call around 11:30 last night. They say that there were no injuries reported, no arrests have been made so far. They're still trying to figure out what led up to this shooting. We did speak with the Spectrum employee here. She says that this never happens here. She says there is damage to the Apple display and some couches as well. She also said police told her that people were running and possibly firing at each other. We're working to confirm that with police. Early start of this investigation here, but we are keeping you updated on all of these details, and we're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
A Raleigh man is facing charges because he's accused of breaking into a Wake County home. Deputies say they got a call around 2:30 Wednesday morning from a home on Vista del Lago Lane. That's near Wake Forest, if you're familiar. The caller said she saw two unknown men in her house, and she also said they stole from her, including her credit cards. Well, after an investigation, deputies arrested Daquan Bell. He's charged with first-degree burglary, larceny, and drug possession. The Wake County Sheriff's Office says they are looking for other suspects. Meanwhile, the Hope County Sheriff's Office says they need your help to find the break-in suspect you see right here. Deputies say this person in these pictures broke into a place of worship last week and stole several items. They're asking you to be on the lookout for this person and their blue and gold motorcycle. If you have any information, you can contact the Hope County Sheriff's Office. This morning, we're hearing from Democratic Congressman Don Davis. It's the first time since state lawmakers redrew his district to improve the chances that a Republican wins that seat. Davis has served the 1st Congressional District since 2023, and a new congressional map approved Wednesday put him in District 3 and turned his former position into a GOP-leaning seat. You can see the new congressional map right here on your screen. This gives Republicans an advantage in 11 of the state's 14 congressional seats, up from 10. But he wouldn't confirm whether he'll run again or in which district. However, he did make a call for an end to mid-decade redistricting.
It's creating so much confusion. It doesn't matter, Texas, California, Missouri, Kansas. We just need to pull together and support an end to this.
The redistricting was part of a national Republican effort to keep control of Congress in the midterm elections. We also reached out to Senator Phil Berger and Representative Destin Hall for statements, but we're still waiting to hear back from them. I should also mention there are people fighting against this new map. Bishop William Barber and supporters, for example, say they're going to challenge it. Barber called the new map an attempt to silence black voters by dividing a strong black voting bloc in eastern North Carolina. Republican leaders insist they did not use racial data to draw this map. However, Barber argues they don't need to do it because they know who the voters are. The group has not yet filed a lawsuit, but says it likely will in the next 2 weeks. President Trump says he is ending all trade negotiations with Canada immediately. The president accused Canada of trying to interfere with an upcoming Supreme Court case. That is about the legality of his reciprocal tariffs. He made the announcement on Truth Social after the Canadian province of Ontario began running a TV ad in the U.S. It featured former President Ronald Reagan criticizing tariffs. Well, the Reagan Presidential Foundation says the ad misrepresents Reagan's speech and his remarks were edited without permission. Today, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners will address the government shutdown and its local effects. Board members and local municipal leaders will have an emergency special meeting to discuss this. Today's meeting starts at 11 a.m., and that will be in room 564 of the Cumberland County Courthouse in Fayetteville. Happening today, Cleveland High School is playing its first football game tonight since one of its players collapsed on the field. Last week, you may recall, wide receiver Christian Clark went into cardiac arrest after making a catch. Let's bring in Kelsey Coffey. She's live at Cleveland High School this morning. Kelsey, Christian is already back in the classroom, so there's progress there.
Yes, Chris, we do have a positive update to share this morning. Tonight, Cleveland High School football players will be back here on the field after that scary moment last week. We do have an update from Christian Clark's family. They say that he was able to go back to school for the first time yesterday. He was also able to stand on the sidelines and support his teammates during practice. We'll show you video now from that game against Southeast Raleigh where the unthinkable happened. Christian went into cardiac arrest on the field. Coaches and trainers leaped into action performing CPR. His parents left the stands and rushed to the field. Christian's father, Chris, performed chest compressions. They were eventually able to use a defibrillator to restore his son's heartbeat.
Done the CPR and the AED training, probably 6 or 7 times now, not thinking that one day I may have to use this on my own kid.
Wow, and Chris says that his son did have a cardiac MRI yesterday. Coming up tonight on WRAL, health reporter Grace Haba speaks to a doctor to explain how hard hits can cause heart attacks that are more common in kids. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
And we'll keep you informed on the newest information about Christian's recovery after what happened on the field. You can catch that in our evening newscast starting at 4 p.m. Got to show you a new video from Wayne County. It shows a school bus on fire. A WRAL viewer sent us this video. Do you see here the smoke billowing right here? This happened on Till Drive in Goldsboro around 3:30 there, and the bus driver successfully managed to get the children off the bus, and no one was injured. The fire was under control in less than 15 minutes, but no word on what may have started that fire. Actually, the risk of brush fires is a concern because of dry conditions that we've been seeing. We've learned that there was one in Holly Springs, in fact. Sky 5 was above that scene last night. As our chopper approached, you can see the smoke off GB Alfred Highway and West Holly Springs Road. Firefighters were able to get that fire out in about 30 minutes' time. Investigators say this fire appears to be accidental, but they didn't say how that happened. Now, deputies believe at least 5,000 people showed up to a field party in Orange County, and Sky 5 was above that event Wednesday night. 8 people were in an SUV that crashed into a parked car when leaving that party. State Highway Patrol says some of these people were NC Central students. 4 of them were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay. Authorities say the driver of that SUV was 21-year-old Krista Nail. She's charged with DWI and reckless driving. In fact, WRAL Investigates has been covering large field parties like this one for months. Our reporting is even leading senators to consider a change in state law to tighten loopholes that allow these gatherings. You can find all of that extensive reporting on WRAL.com. Just search the words field party. A violent chain of events in Charlotte ended with a suspect dead after a shootout with police. Investigators say this all started yesterday with reports of an assault and shooting. One person was killed and another person was hurt. The suspect then forced his way into a nearby home, kidnapped someone, and then stole a car. During that pursuit, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg police chief says the suspect started shooting at officers. 4 officers were checked out at a nearby hospital, but just to be safe. The Carolina Hurricanes are bouncing back after their first loss of the season. They took on the Colorado Avalanche last night, and the Canes were on a roll. They ended the first period up 4-1 with this takeaway to a rebound goal from Logan Stankoven. The Avalanche would score 3 more goals to tie the score up to about 4 and then force a shootout. Canes goalie Freddie Anderson made a stop on Colorado's 3rd attempt, and Carolina won 5-4. They'll play the Dallas Stars tomorrow night at 8. Your time is 4:40 this morning. Toxic water worries. The fight over chemical contamination in North Carolina's rivers could affect your drinking water. What's at stake for more than 1 million people? And walk and roll. Dozens of Durham students are ditching the bus for a fun and healthy way to get to school. The celebration today, that's part of a month-long safety push. Let's get you a live look in Fenton and Cary this morning. Pretty quiet out there for the time being. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us about the first frost advisory of the fall season.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:44 and a nice clear morning. Our temperatures are on the chilly side, but maybe even colder for tomorrow morning. I'll show you why we're going to see that bigger change. It is 36 in Roxborough, and so up near the Virginia line, there's the possibility for some patchy frost. Everywhere else, we're mostly 40s and 50s, 50 in Durham, 45 Fayetteville, 52 in Garner, 48 in Rocky Mount. Temperatures are likely to drop a little bit more before we get to sunrise, but probably not down into the 30s widespread. But we could see temperatures in the low to mid 40s in some places. At the bus stop this afternoon, our temperatures will be in the upper 60s with plenty of sunshine, a little bit cooler than what we saw yesterday, but still not too far below normal. What we'll see over the weekend looks pleasant, but we're looking ahead to early next week where we could see some much needed rain. I'll show you how much.
New regulatory changes to help businesses affected by Helene are now law. Governor Josh Stein signed that measure approved by lawmakers this week. The law provides funding for several law enforcement initiatives. It adjusts rules for small business loans and local government grants tied to disaster recovery. Lawmakers approved several smaller funding bills as the legislature is at an impasse over a broader state budget. The fiscal year started July 1st, and lawmakers adjourned Thursday for the rest of the year. A heated debate over toxic chemicals in North Carolina's water and whether the state is doing enough to stop this. WRAL's climate change reporter Liz McLaughlin shows us how that could affect the drinking water for more than 1 million North Carolinians.
The EPA is stepping in after North Carolina dropped limits on 1,4-dioxane, a toxic chemical linked to cancer found in wastewater from Asheborough's treatment plant. This week, the agency held a public hearing to decide whether to let the state handle it or take over the permit itself.
Toxic chemicals dumped into North Carolina's waterways are sparking debate over pollution and power.
I expect the water coming out of my tap to be safe to drink, but right now it's not.
Federal regulators heard passionate testimony at a hearing in Asheboro Wednesday as residents demanded action.
We need y'all to stand up for us. The local system is not respecting our American rights.
Hold strong for the people who cannot afford filtration systems.
Clean water isn't a luxury, and it is a basic human right.
The chemical at the center of the controversy, 1,4-dioxane, is a toxic cancer-causing compound that isn't removed by standard filtration systems. It's been detected in wastewater from Asheboro at levels 10,000 times higher than the EPA's cancer risk benchmark.
This chemical is coming from their own industrial polluters, and they can make their own industries treat for the chemical before it ever gets to their sewage or wastewater treatment plants.
That contamination flows downstream, impacting drinking water for communities from Pittsboro to Fayetteville to Wilmington. Even towns like Fuquay-Varina, Holly Springs, and parts of Harnett County that buy water from Sanford, altogether serving more than 1 million North Carolinians.
Somebody is paying for this pollution. You know, if it's not these industries, the people who are going to be paying for this pollution are the people living downstream.
DEQ says it's appealing the decision and agrees limits are needed to protect public health.
The city of Asheboro wouldn't answer specific questions because of an ongoing lawsuit, but says it's following its current permit and will follow whatever limits the courts decide.
That was Liz McLaughlin with that story. The EPA still accepting public comment until October 31st, and you can find that email to send your feedback on our website, WRAL.com. Duke Energy is broadening its strategy to get the power back on when it goes out. The company held a site visit for its energy grid improvement project at a substation in Raleigh. Duke Energy is in the middle of a 2-year effort. That includes more than 1,000 grid improvement projects across the state, and the goal is to improve reliability for customers while keeping up with growth. Today, North Carolina Central will celebrate its annual Founders Day. The 78th annual event is happening as part of the university's homecoming weekend, and it's happening from 9 to 11 this morning. A wreath-laying ceremony will follow this. From 1 to 6 this afternoon, there will be a tent party for Divine Nine alumni and friends. And the Ultimate Homecoming Experience Step Show will be tonight from 7 to 10:30. Hey, just a reminder, take it slow this morning while you're driving because more students are walking and riding bikes to school. At George Watts Elementary, students, staff, and families are celebrating WRAL to School Day. They're going to be gathering on campus around 8:30 to stroll and bike through the neighborhood together. It's all a part of Durham Public Schools' month-long push to promote safe, healthy, and fun ways to get to class. And I tell you what, Elizabeth, today might be a good day for parents to maybe make sure their kids have a jacket going out there, at least to start the day, because it's going to be kind of cooler. And then, of course, we'll see that warm up.
Yeah, we're looking at temperatures mostly in the 40s and 50s this morning, so a jacket should do just fine. We also today have another day of high fire danger. We're not looking at conditions being quite as windy, but it's just so dry out there. It's going to be nice and cool. Temperature is dipping into the upper 30s up near the Virginia line. And then looking ahead to next week, some much needed rains in our forecast. And we have a good chance of having, at least some measurable rain. Increased fire danger today includes our entire viewing area from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those are hours you don't want to do any outdoor burning. What we're looking at here is a new product that we have in our weather system. The red areas are where the satellite is sensing heat. We're going to zoom in to the western part of our viewing area, and you can see some of these. This area is some smoke, and so we do have some smoke that's drifting in to the western part of our viewing area, but at this point it doesn't look likely that we have any current fires burning, but we'll let you know if we do. Likely to have some patchy frost up near the Virginia line this morning. We take a look at temperatures, 36 in Roxborough, but elsewhere temperatures are mid-40s to around 50, but may drop a little bit more before sunrise. It's 46 in Durham, 43 in Chapel Hill, but 50 in Holly Springs, 52 in Garner and Knightdale. Tomorrow morning is likely to be colder. We're down to 38, so a better chance for some patchy frost, and then temperatures warm up as we get into early next week. This is a look at tomorrow. 33 Roxborough and Clarksville, 38 in Durham, 35 Rocky Mount and Wilson. We head to the south, 31 in Robbins, 33 Sanford, 38 in Rayford. So again, a better chance of some freezing conditions. We take a look at the fair this morning. Nice and dry out there, looking beautiful. 50 degrees currently at RDU with the northeast wind at 6 miles per hour. 68 for today, and Raleigh 71 in Fayetteville. So temperatures running just a little bit cooler than yesterday. We're at 66 Saturday, 65 Sunday, but it does stay dry through the fair. Football Friday looking good. Temperatures will be dropping on into the 50s during game time. We are looking at a good chance for rain. Finally, we could get a soaker. I'll show you how much rain we could see coming up.
That sounds great, Elizabeth. Thank you. Your time is 4:51 this morning. Big screen surprise. A fan favorite streaming hit is making the leap to theaters. We'll share what's buzzing in Hollywood today. Plus, closing time. A Fuquay Arena favorite is saying goodbye after 7 years of serving up flavor. What the owners are hinting could take its place. A popular streaming series heads to theaters, and David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
After what we've been through, this thing, it ties us together.
The Stranger Things finale on the big screen. Netflix is putting the final episode of the series in more than 350 theaters in the U.S. and Canada. It'll screen on December 31st, at the same time it premieres on streaming, and again on January 1st. The first half of the 5th and final season of Stranger Things debuts November 26th.
After all these years, I can finally own an official, authenticated piece of Jim Henson Company history.
That's right, Timmy. Bidding is now open for the Jim Henson Company's 70th anniversary auction. Select puppets, props, and memorabilia from Henson film and TV projects are on the block. The auction takes place November 25th. Check it out at juliannesauctions.com.
I'm real good at reading people.
And what have you read about me?
Okay. You look like a person who has secrets. You got the cars, the clothes, but you can't seem to look me in the eye.
Here's your first look at Chris Hemsworth as a high-stakes thief in Crime 101. Mark Ruffalo, Nick Nolte, and Halle Berry also star in the crime thriller, which opens in theaters February 13th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, a popular restaurant in Fuquay-Varina is closing. Abbey Road will be closing after 7 years in business. They announced that news on Facebook. The owners posted that after a long time in business, that it was time to take a break. They hinted another restaurant, though, will move into that space, but details of that have not been released. The Fall Classic gets started tonight. The LA Dodgers are looking to repeat themselves to become World Series champions again. To get there, they're going to have to get through the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 1 is in Toronto tonight, and first pitch is at 8 o'clock. And you can watch that over on Fox 50. We've been following breaking news this morning as you are taking a live look right now at a scene where a business was shot into in Raleigh. Police are investigating that business at the Triangle Town Center this morning. We'll tell you where police are in the search for whoever pulled the trigger. And fires too close. New video shows just how close flames got to homes along Highway 540. What investigators are saying about the series of fires and what's being done to prevent more. Outer Banks cleanup. Progress being made after several homes collapsed into the ocean, leaving behind a big mess. That mess the contractors and residents are having to make their way through.